Good afternoon. My name is Gautam Bhargava, and I'm a classmate of Rajiv's from IIT Kanpur. I have known Rajiv since 1978, our freshman year at IIT, when we were the first ever class of computer science undergraduates at the IITs. And then beyond that, as a truly wonderful friend for the last 2 decades. I've also had the privilege of having Rajiv advise me on 2 of my startups through inception to their eventual acquisition by large companies. I've known Rajiv as a teenager, a fun-loving rock and roll and party guy, a super smart classmate, a world-class academic, and as a board member with amazing business savvy. Our hearts are still filled with grief, and the hurt hasn't gone away. But today, we are here to celebrate Rajiv's life. I want to take the next few minutes to talk about Rajiv's fun-loving side, right from his early days. Stuff you would never, ever find on Wikipedia. Let's rewind to our IIT Kanpur days. Hardly anyone in those days called him Rajiv. To us, he was, and still is, Mots, which was perhaps not short for Motwani, as you would expect, but rather short for Motwain. As our friend Mohan Ram, who's somewhere here, I'm sure, recalls, for some reason, we always had a story going that this was Motwain, the younger brother of the movie star, John Wayne. But this alleged younger brother of John Wayne was never seen wearing a 10-gallon Stetson. He was most often seen in a kurta, jeans, chappals, with his cloth book bag slung across his shoulder. Now, everyone knows here about Rajiv's amazing brilliance. That would make you believe that Rajiv was this immensely studious type who spent all his waking hours studying and hitting the books. Au contraire. Rajiv was an incredibly fun-loving guy, always ready for a party. In his dorm room, next to his bed, would be a stack of science fiction novels waiting for eager consumption. Rajiv would spend endless hours solving the hardest crossword puzzles you could find, playing bridge or volleyball, and hanging out with friends. Then he would magically show up at these exams and tests and ace them. Go figure. Now, if a course was crazy hard, say like one on number theory, Rajiv would effortlessly breeze through it with amazingly elegant answers for even the hardest problems. However, if the class was quote unquote easy, Rajiv would lose a little interest. Rajiv thought time could be better spent listening to music, hanging out at the canteen, eating hakka chowmein or anda parathas. I'm sure some of you know what those are. Similarly, as our friend Jaydeep recalls, during his Berkeley days, Rajiv spent quite some time in deciding on his thesis topic and didn't publish any academic papers in his first 3 years. Not because he couldn't, but rather because he considered many of the problems way too simple to solve. People who didn't know Rajiv considered that really risky. You're 3 years into your PhD program and have 0 papers. But that was indeed the quintessential, fun-loving, brilliant Rajiv. Of course, once he chose his thesis topic and got going, what he did in the next 3 years is legendary. Now, Rajiv was also quite a music lover, with a particular fondness for rock and roll. During our IIT years, Rajiv was also the audio club secretary. This was indeed a prestigious job, as the audio secretary controlled the keys to the rock and roll kingdom. And he decided when and where the amps and the speakers and the guitars could be made available. As usual, Rajiv took great joy in organizing the audio club and would make all his friends lug these heavy amps and speakers across the campus. When this got too much, he decided, it was more fun to play the bass. His favorite tune for riffing on bass was Badge. Later, he started doodling on the keyboard. And as our friend Madhavan recalls, they only played songs which were in the key of A minor, so Rajiv could play on the white keys only. Now, Rajiv could also create musical wonders with another instrument. You just had to hear him use a wine glass and a fork to play the chimes for the Bollywood hit Chura Liya Hai. You had to be there. As is the case for a lot of us, our college years are a big part of our life. It was no different for Rajiv. IIT Kanpur was a big part of Rajiv's life. In his case, though, Rajiv was a big part of the IITs. For our graduating class's 25th anniversary gift to IIT Kanpur, Rajiv was instrumental in helping set up a curriculum for entrepreneurship, something very unusual at the IITs. The Pan-IIT movement, which represents all the IITs and not just IIT Kanpur, just recently instituted a Lifetime Achievement Award. And the first recipient of this incredibly prestigious honor is Rajiv Motwani. The hurt is still here in our hearts, and I can often imagine Rajiv on the other end of the phone line saying, GB, this is Rajiv. But we're here today to celebrate Rajiv's life. To paraphrase a shlok Professor Goldman read, if to be alive is to be remembered and celebrated by others, I'm sure Rajiv will live amongst us forever. Thank you.